Of course, which part?
I do not know. It was one of those tough situations where only time will tell how well you handled them. If I were in your position, I would take the prefect's evaluation in stride and learn from your painful experience on Dasara. Sometimes, life knocks the wind out of you in a way that can't be dodged, so it helps to learn how to take a hit. I'm not going to call the prefect's judgment into question, but you had to make a difficult decision, and you made it. You took responsibility. I appreciate such qualities in people.
I'm curious, did you like any of the entertainment we saw on Theresa?
I was on a mission, not attending to pointless amusements.
You are simply no good at enjoying yourself?
You are quite right, and I'm almost proud of it. What kind of arbitrator would stoop to idle revelry or throne forbid dancing? Very well. If you insist, let me think about it one more time. The wine smelled like wash. The imposter hunt was a plot. I failed to see anything appealing there. And the rest of the festivities had all the characteristics of degradation. I believe that covers everything.
What a boring man you are.
You should take that into account if you ever need an escort for some high society events. You know, one who actually has your back and keeps watch instead of drinking. We could discuss something else. Yes, I've been looking for a chance to have this conversation. I must tell you something about my past, so that we might consider the matter closed. If you agree to hear me out, that is.
What do you wish to tell me?
It's about what really pushed me into the pit of anger. Back in Calixis, before I was promoted to Proctor, I served in the same squad with another arbitrator, Emerson. He wasn't just a comrade. We entered the Schola Progenium together. We went through training together. We were assigned to the same hive world. He was like a brother to me, and I killed him. We ran into an ambush during a raid, all because Emerson sold us out to a crime syndicate. I was badly wounded in the fight, lying on the floor, barely alive. The rest of the squad had gone to scout the area, and Emerson stayed to guard me. He didn't notice that I was awake. He was talking over the Vox. He kept demanding bigger payment, and when he started giving our coordinates, I shot him in the back of the head. I figured that we weren't making it out of there alive, so I logged my final report, attached my Vox to Glato's collar, and told him to return to the headquarters. Then, I passed out again, and when I came to, I had already been captured. The heretics tortured me for days, but I held on until the exaction squad arrived. A special unit. Exaction squads are dispatched to track down and apprehend dangerous criminals. They were investigating Emerson's betrayal, and it had led them to the heretics' hideout where I was being held prisoner. I was right by their contact's corpse. They had to know how I found them out and what else I knew about them. They tried to beat the answers out of me, tried long and hard. I kept my mouth shut, because I knew that the second I started talking, they would dispose of me.
How did you survive your captivity?
I could throw pretty words at you about how I went through the Injunctor Cardinal in my mind, or prayed to the Emperor, but I did pray, and I was well trained to tolerate pain, but every arbitrator has their limit. When I was almost broken, what helped me through was hatred. I kept recalling that bastard's face and smothered any base thoughts I had about welcoming death again and again. Hours of agony, hours in the whirlpool of pure rage.
What happened next?
I was put under investigation, but was cleared of the charges and assigned to piety without Glato. The most corrupt hive world in the Drusis marches. 2 years among the vilest dregs of humanity. It was a test, and I passed. I got my promotion, got Glato back. But after Emerson's betrayal, I was never the same.
You did the right thing by executing your former comrade.
I know.
Have you re-centered yourself?
Firmly. It was your words that pulled me out of that darkness, and you have my gratitude. My faith has overpowered my disappointment and hatred. It is true that people are weak and full of vices, but that's not what's important. All that matters is that the letter of his law is perfect and that it guides me. His word and nothing else.
How is Glato? Do you act as one again?
You need not concern yourself with Glato. I recently finished checking all his protocols. His responses are instantaneous. I cannot pretend I haven't missed his companionship.
Did the marshal contact you about your reinstatement?
He did send a message, and the phrasing was unusually heartfelt. Solomon Anthar, you are hereby restored to your rank of proctor. Never allow even a shadow of dishonor to fall on your uniform again. Every word? You don't know the Marshal that well, so you can take it from me. Good. It is about time we changed the subject. Understandable. That trial was unprecedented, as was its ending. Gregorus Strax used to be an outstanding servant of the Lex Imperialis, and I still cannot understand why he failed to recognize Voltur as an enemy. I'm inclined to believe that Strax had grown too distant from the Lex Imperialis. The letter of his law holds all the answers and solutions, but Strax faltered in his judgment and turned to Voltur for advice. His waning faith made him blind and led him to a predictable and ignominious end. The Marshal's removal is sure to become a test of the Arbiti spirit, but I believe in the Arbitrator's perseverance. We were taught to do our duty no matter the circumstances, and even while we are leaderless, the Lex Imperialis will guide us through. Other than unerring service? Actually, I've been thinking a lot lately about how the Creed stands farther from the God Emperor than the Lex Imperialis. I want his law to become the sole pillar of faith for the arbitrators. I wish to guide them, not only as a marshal, but also as a preacher.
How is Glato? Have you already had the recording device extracted?
I've decided not to subject him to yet another procedure. The protocol that was making him conduct surveillance has been stopped after all. We might have need of this function someday, but for now, it has been disabled into the void within.
I believe we discuss everything.
So do I. Do you wish to talk about something else?
I wish to know more about you.
You prefer to have a better understanding of the people you travel with. That makes sense. Ask.
Where are you from?
Port Wanda in Calixis. The gateway to the Expanse, a monumental station, always covered in ships and bursting at the seams from all the dealers, pilgrims, mercenaries, and criminals. Compared to Port Wanda, Footfall is just a lifeless rock in the void. On Dargonis, Lady Theodora gave the top level of one of the spires over to the Arbates. A noble house used to occupy it, before it decided to stick its hand into the dynasty's coffers. By offering us such prominent lodgings, your predecessor both reinforced her ties to the Arbates and made an unambiguous gesture toward the nobility. She was a shrewd woman and unforgiving. I must admit, I was pleasantly surprised. I'd expected something far less civilized, given that the Coronis Expanse is on the outskirts of the Imperium. Instead, Dargonis may even compare to some Calixian worlds in status and stability. How? The short answer is the Schola Progenium. But I doubt you'd be satisfied with that. My father was an arbitrator, a good one, or else they wouldn't have found him in an alley filled with bullet holes. Someone who served with my father told me he was shot with 10 different weapons, and that he took at least 4 of the bastards down with him. I was sent to the Schola Progenium right after that, and the mentors there forged me into an arbitrator. I was an eager student, thanks to the example of unyielding duty and dignity my father set for me. The only thing I didn't need to borrow from him was hate. He didn't instill that. It was always with me. I never doubted that criminal vermin deserve only execution, but it was my father's death that truly crystallized my hatred, made it complete.
Will you be able to avenge your father?
No, I didn't want to. There was a time when I wasn't sure what to think of my father's death. Or rather, I tried not to think at all. I didn't look into the case, or for any other reason, to go back to Port Wanda. Arbitrators are never assigned to their homeworlds anyway. But when I was leaving Calixis, our ship spent several days docked at the station, and so I permitted myself to go to the spot where my father was killed. I stood there for a while, and nothing. I knew that another arbitrator would have already seen the investigation through. I had nothing left to do there.
Hatred does not come from anywhere. It must have been your father's influence.
It's possible. He didn't speak much. Sometimes we went days without saying a word to each other. The only time he was talkative was when he was going through his cases at night. He would inform me in terse and simple words who had sold out and why, what depravities the heretics from the lower hive levels had committed, what base motives the workers had had for hanging their foremen. All I did was listen, watch, and think. That was enough. From what my father told me, she was a principled woman of poor health. She died in childbirth. Not having known her might be the sole regret of my life. It's all true. I am a second-generation arbitrator, and my father is as dead as it gets. I wonder if being killed in action runs in the family. I guess I should hold off until I have a kid. You should ask the Marshal. I got my assignment, and that is all I know. I assume it's due to my experience. Collecting tithes from worlds bordering on savagery, and where people haven't seen a living arbitrator in 3 generations, is a task best left to a veteran.
Hey, transfer up here. The transfer here sounds more like a banishment to me.
This isn't banishment. Otherwise, the same would apply to the Marshal and all other arbitrators in the Coronis Expanse. We are here because the Imperium needs its tithe, and that's all there is to it.
What kind of assignments did you handle before you were appointed to oversee the tail cases?
I suppose I have what you would call a proven and diverse track record. Investigations, rebel suppressions, punitive raids, dozens of completed operations. There was this one time. I was part of a raid on a gang of mutants. I excelled in battle, received an award, and was promoted to Proctor. That is all.
You are getting off that easily. You are not getting off that easily. Solomon. I need details.
Very well. Have you ever been eaten alive? I have. That raid I mentioned was compromised. The enemy had been tipped off to our operation, and we had walked into a trap. Some mutants decided to chew my arm off. That was a mistake. Since I couldn't free myself, I pushed my hand down his throat, grabbed something inside, and used him as a shield. While the thing was gnawing on my bones and spraying me with ichor and my own blood, I opened fire on the rest of the scum. That little maneuver bought my unit a few critical seconds.
I am fortunate to be fighting on the same side as you.
Fortune has little to do with it. You have formed an alliance with the Arbates, just as your predecessor did. My presence here is only the expected result of your decisions.
Let's talk about something else.
I am listening. I must remind you that Glato is a living weapon. If you like the number of fingers you have, do not touch the dog.
I suppose my figure do have a sentimental value.
Wise choice. You hear that, Glato? The rogue trader himself is asking about you.
Why did you call him Glato?
His serial number is GL80. Glato is easier to say in Gothic. Many give their cybermastiffs striking names like Slayer or Thunder. I'm fine with Glato.
What can your dog do?
He mostly provides combat support. He is trained in both lethal and non-lethal ways of disabling a target, with the ability to analyze a situation and then decide on a course of action. Glato is a good tracker too, and he can spot basic evidence. He also knows over 100 commands. In general, he is more resourceful and diligent than most people I've met. Glato, ready! The frame is mostly metal, with armored plates covering the vital segments. The jaw is reinforced. Crunching a leg off is like tearing a hair out for him. I don't even know a tenth of all the things Glato is fitted with, but it's an impressive list to be sure. Take the sensors in his nose for one. A cybermastiff is like an odor analysis laboratory. All right, that's that. Glato, attention. They range from kill and guard and the like, to more complex guard and patrol protocols. A protocol is a combination of behavioral patterns, which the cybermastiff follows according to the present situation. In other words, I don't have to control Glato all the time. He can adjust and react to the circumstances on his own. That is a useless command, Rogue Trader. A cybermastiff must always be in an advantageous position to attack the enemy. Glato can crawl or move stealthily if the situation calls for it, but regardless, he will not respond to someone else's order.
That will do.
As you wish. Generally, cybermastiffs have all aspects of their animal nature removed, but Glato is a special case. His submodel takes a dog's loyalty and instincts as a hunter and guard and renders them absolute. He is neither a dog nor a servitor. He is something much more. A cybermastiff, a living weapon in service of the law. Glato is not a pet. He is an instrument of justice, as am I.
Duty comes before attachment. To you, I see Amber.
So, we understand each other. Good.
He's only listening to you then.
Correct. Both his training and his augmetics ensure that Glato only accepts orders from me or from my superior officers. Apart from having the obvious benefits, it also serves to prevent disarray on missions involving multiple cybermastiff handlers.
I see.
You know where to find me, rogue trader.